Okay. So come right up to the front edge of your chair and have your feet right underneath your knees. All right, and just start by checking in with your posture this morning. So notice, how's your back feeling? How are your shoulders? How are your hips? How are your neck? Right? So just kind of check in with yourself. How's everything feeling? That's like the first part. And then notice where your mind is at. Are you here? Or are you still arriving? Have you already left? Right? Because we're never here. We're never really here. Because as soon as we think we're here, it's the next moment. Right? So we're usually either in the past or the future. So just notice how far in the past or how far in the future you are. Maybe it's a moment, but maybe it's a little bit longer than that. And then investigate a little bit more by closing your eyes. And just kind of go inside the sensation of being you. So that may seem like a little weird concept, but just what is it like to be you in this moment right now? Just kind of interrogate that for yourself. And you might notice right away that some judgments come up. And those judgments often are kind of critical, right? We save the worst kinds of criticisms for ourselves. So if you notice that your mind is going to like some negative things, see if you can just come to some neutral things. Just noticing how your feet feel on the floor. Just noticing that you're sitting and what that feels like to be sitting in this way. And noticing your breath, the way air moves in and out of your body. Notice if you feel warm or cool. And you may feel both. Maybe parts of you feel cool and parts of you feel warm. And then see if you can shift all of your attention, or most of your attention, to your breath. Are you able to breathe in and out through your nose? Is one side of your nose more open than the other? So does air flow through one nostril easier than it flows through the other nostril? And as you begin to deepen your breath, taking longer, slower inhales and longer, slower exhales, can you notice the difference in temperature? When you breathe in, the air is cooler. When you breathe out, the air is warmer. And as you inhale, can you feel your rib cage expand? What about your belly and your waist? Can you feel movement up in your shoulders, the shoulder tops, the sides, the back? I'm going to start to do a little breathing exercise where we breathe in two different segments. So you breathe in halfway and then you breathe in the other half. And then we're going to exhale through the mouth, just sort of like you're blowing out a candle. So when you're ready, breathe in halfway and breathe in another half. And then blow out through your lips. We'll do that over and over. So breathing in halfway, breathing in the second half, and then blowing out through your lips. And going on at your own pace. And as you continue this breathing in to 2 and breathing out to 1, see if you can make your exhale, that breathing out, a little bit longer. So when you get to the end of blowing out the candle, see if you got a little bit more breath in there that you can blow out. So again, you're breathing in halfway and then breathing in the second half, blowing out as completely as you can, and then seeing if you can get a little bit more air out. After your next exhale, after you've blown out all the breath you can from your lungs, just go back to your natural breath. So just inhaling and exhaling without making the breath any longer, any slower. And notice if you have a different sense of your breath. Maybe it feels a little more expansive. Maybe it feels like you can breathe in or out a little bit more naturally. And you can let your eyes gently open. And then keeping the shoulders in line with the hips, so we're kind of keeping our torsos lined up. I'm just going to ask you to turn your head to the right, just as far to the right as you can, without turning your shoulders, without turning your body. And let your eyes turn all the way around in the eye sockets. It's like you're trying to look out over that right shoulder into the space behind you on that side. And take note of what you can see in your direct vision and what you can see in your peripheral vision. And then just make a little mental snapshot of that as you turn your head back to center. And we'll do the same thing on the left. So just the head, don't turn your shoulders, don't turn your torso. We're just turning the head. Let your eyes go as far around in the eye sockets as they can. Notice what's in your direct vision, what's in your peripheral vision. Take a mental snapshot of that. And then come back to center. So you get those two snapshots, one on the right, one on the left, and just kind of hold those. We'll be revisiting those a little bit later. So take your right ear to your right shoulder and see if you can feel a stretch on that left side. Breathe in, breathe out. And bring your head back up to center, and then let's go to the left. So you get your left ear on your left shoulder. Again, breathing in, breathing out. Noticing the right shoulder, the right side of the neck, coming back to center. And we're just going to go very slowly from one side to the other. And when you get to one side, you're just holding there, breathing in, breathing out. After that, inhale and exhale, switching sides, going to the other side. You might notice one side feels a little more accessible than the other. Maybe it's easier to get your right ear toward your right shoulder, or maybe it's on the left side. Just kind of exploring from side to side what's available there. Good. And the next time you come back to center, we're going to hold here just for a moment, kind of recentering ourselves, shoulders over the hips, and then turn to the right. Come back and turn to the left. So it's like saying a slow motion no. So we're just making this nice slow motion no. Now as you turn in one direction, go as far as you can. Give it a little bit of a pause, like just a nanosecond of a pause. And then come back to center. And we're going to go up and down. So saying yes. So chin goes right down to that notch between the collarbones, and then up and down toward that notch in the collarbones. So we'll do this a few times. If anything feels painful or feels pinchy back there, just don't go quite so far. You can just make this a little smaller movement. Okay. And then next time you're back at center, we're going to hold here, and you're going to turn and look down to the right, like there's something on the floor on that right side. And then turn and look all the way up to the left. There's something really interesting up there in the ceiling. So just going back down to the right and up to the left. So try and make most of this movement in your neck. All right, so you might feel your shoulder drop a little bit when you turn your head down. You might feel the shoulder hike up a little bit when you turn your head up. That's okay. But just make as much of the movement in your neck as you can. And breathe as you're doing this. So try not to hold your breath. And again, if anything is painful or pinchy, just make a little bit smaller movement here. Good. Next time you come back to center, we're going to hold here just for a moment, just kind of noticing what the head feels like now that we've done that diagonal movement. And then we'll go to the other side. So down to the left, there's something interesting on the floor on the left, and then up to the right. So down and up, same thing, breathing in, breathing out. Nice slow movement. So you don't want to go too fast. You don't want to make yourself feel dizzy or anything like that. Breathing in, breathing out. And one more time in this kind of diagonal fashion. And then bring your head back to sort of that center. So holding here for a moment, noticing your neck, noticing your shoulders. And now we're going to keep the head still, and we're going to bring the shoulders up and around, back and down. And notice any noise in there, any limitation in your movements. So there may be one shoulder that moves more easily, more freely than the other. And bring the shoulders way up like they could touch your ears. And at some point reverse the direction. And that might feel a little strange to go in the opposite direction, because we like to move one way. We don't necessarily like to move the other way. Good. Okay. And then drop that right shoulder and lift the left shoulder. And notice if your sitting bones are going along for the ride. So are you kind of leaning to one side? Can you plant both sitting bones and have the right shoulder down, the left shoulder up? And then switch. Bring that left shoulder down and the right shoulder up. And breathe. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth here. And try not to twist your spine, right? So we don't want to be twisting the spine. We're actually just trying to lift the shoulder and lower it down. Right? So lifting the shoulder, lowering it down. And your head doesn't move. So your head's not, in other words, you're not bringing your ear to your shoulder. You're just bringing your shoulder to your ear. Great. All right. Let's let that come down. Now take your hands together, interlace them. Interlace your fingers, rather. And then you're going to press your palms away and round through your upper back. Bring your chin to your chest. Breathing in, breathing out. And then come all the way up overhead with your hands if you can. If you can only get them so far, that's fine. If you can bring them way up, bring them way up, and then sweep the hands away. Bring them around behind you. Interlace your fingers back there. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together. Try not to stick your chin up in the air. So you want to keep your chin down, right? Yeah, so you're pressing the chest forward. Breathing in, breathing out. No breath holding here. And then letting go of that, letting the arms come back around to the front. Now interlace the opposite way. So whichever thumb was on the top, you want to go the opposite way. It should feel a little strange. You might need to actually watch your hands do it because they might not want to. And then press your palms away. Drop your chin to your chest. So we're rounding through that upper spine, upper back. Breathing in, breathing out. And on your next inhale, come all the way up overhead as far as you can. Again, if you're working with a limitation with your shoulder, just do the best you can. Reach up. So we want to get as long in the torso as we can, and then sweep the arms out. And now this is really fun. You're interlacing in the opposite way behind your back. So this can be really strange feeling, right? So yeah, if you need to come around to the front to figure it out, go ahead and do that. And then squeeze those shoulder blades together. Try not to let the chin come way up, right? So we might want to tuck the chin a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out here. So imagine you could get your elbows to touch back there. Wouldn't that be something? Good. And release that, come back around. We're going to do that sequence one more time in each way. So interlace the normal way, the regular way, and then press the palms away, breathing in, breathing out. Really press out through the heels of the hands. Come all the way up overhead. You're inhaling and exhaling, getting nice and tall in your seat. We're sweeping the arms around. We're interlacing the fingers. This is the normal way back there. So interlacing the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades. Don't let that chin come up. Breathe in, breathe out here. Letting that go, coming back around one more time in the not normal way, the abnormal way or weird way. Pressing the palms, dropping the chin, breathing in, breathing out. Coming all the way up overhead. Oh, lift, lift, lift. Releasing the hands, sweeping them around behind you, interlacing in that non-dominant way, right? Squeezing those shoulder blades together, getting the elbows as close as they can be back there. And then releasing that. Let your hands come to your lap. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. So just kind of feel what's going on here. All right, and then take your hands off your lap, press your palms away. And then we're going to make a fist and pull back, right? And as you pull back, see if you can lift your elbows up. So we're pressing away, and we're coming back and lifting up. But try not to use your chin or your neck to do this movement, right? So in other words, when I come back, I don't want to do this. I just want this to be in the shoulder itself, right? So as best you can. So we're pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. Good. Couple more of these. So we're getting some movement in the shoulder blades. You guys keep going. I'll show you right there. Those are the shoulder blades. Now, Skelly's shoulder blades are literally bolted to her ribs, but ours move. They slide. When we press forward, the shoulder blades come off. They go this way, and then when you pull the arms back, the shoulder blades come together back there. So we want to get some movement. So just a couple more of these. Really push and pull, right? Really push and pull. All right. And the next time you're in pull position, we're going to hold here. So we're holding here. And then you're going to extend your arms behind you with your palms facing down, and then make like little fluttering movements with your hands, right? So again, the tendency is to do this with the chin. You want to pull your chin under, right? Because you're not on the prow of a boat. You're sitting in a chair. So inhaling, exhaling. This can be pretty challenging, especially if you've got some tightness in those shoulders. And then release that, let the arms hang down by your sides. Oh, and feel how heavy they are, right? They weigh a ton at this point. So if you want, just close your eyes and feel what's happening in your neck and shoulders. Feel what's happening in your arms. Down into your hands and fingers even. You can let your eyes open, and we're going to take the right elbow and make some circles. Making some nice big circles here. So again, working with whatever you've got going on. If you've got a shoulder issue here, you want to be mindful of that. Try not to aggravate it, right? But you want to work within your available range, within what is available to you. And let's make some 8s, right? So draw a nice big 8 with the elbow. Excellent. We did this last week. And then reverse, so reverse 8s. All right. And let's go over to the left side, so circles. Nice big circles. Oh, this shoulder's a little more noisy up here for me. Anybody notice noisy shoulders? Yeah, right? And then reverse, right? So going up and around. So you can really feel those shoulders starting to wake up. And then let's do an 8. Good. Nice looking 8s and then reverse 8. Good. All right. It's, you lost it. That's okay. That's okay. We were done anyway. All right, take your right arm and press it out to the side. It's like a strong arm, right? So you're trying to hold something away over there, right? And then we're going to do a little swan neck. So just for those over there, so the swan neck is when we bring the back of the wrist to the shoulder and the fingers kind of straighten out a little bit, and then we go out and in. So that's the whole movement here. So press, right? So the more you press, the more you engage the muscles in the arm, the more you're going to get out of this. So we're pressing and then pulling back. And notice what that feels like. You might be noticing like some sensations in your arm that you're not familiar with or doesn't happen very often. Okay, next time you're out, you're going to hold here. We're going to bring the arm all the way up overhead as best you can. Bend your elbow. Bring the palm of your hand to your chin or the side of your face. So your thumb is facing forward, right? Good. Yeah. And then come up and come all the way down. You guys know this. Some of you know this, right? So we're breathing in and out. Arm comes up, lift, 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 bend the elbow. So we want the arm as long as it can be before we do this answering the telephone thing, back when we had telephones. And up and around. Right? Remember putting the phone on your shoulder? Gosh. Up and down. So we're getting access to some movement in the arm that maybe we don't do on a regular basis. Good. Okay, and then shake that out a little bit. All right, we're going to take the first finger and the thumb together. Now, most of you know this as well, right? So we're going to go from answering the telephone to spying on somebody. So we're going to take that arm out to the side, bring it up overhead, bend your elbow, and now you want to get your fingers, these 3 fingers, down close to your chin, and get that little loop up in your eye. Oh, not in your eye, around your eye. Yeah, so not this, right? It's this. Yeah, if it's not hard, you're not doing it right. It should be hard. Your pinky, some people's pinky will be on their ear. Some people may not have that option, but yes, so your pinky should be below all your other fingers, right? Yep, so this is your pinky above all your other fingers. That's your pinky below all your other fingers. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, you can give an assist too. How about one more time? Come up and over. If you need to give a little assist here, give your hand a little assist. Can't make the circle. Yeah, so there's lots of impediments here, right? So shake that out a little bit. Bring both hands to your lap. Take a moment, maybe close your eyes, and notice the difference between the right side and left side. Shoulder, arm, hand, fingers. And then you can open your eyes. So part of what we're working on are joints, right? The shoulder joint, the elbow, the wrist, all the finger joints. Part of it is the tissue, the muscles, the tendons. Tendons are what attach muscle to bone. The ligaments, that's what attaches bone to bone. We're also working on the nerves, blood vessels, because when we stretch in certain ways like this and we start to free up tissue, we get more blood flow, more exchange of good stuff in the body. So the left side is very jealous of the right side now, right? So let's start with that strong arm. So we're right out to the side, really pressing out through the heel of the hand. Should feel a little something there. If you're pressing strongly enough, you should feel a little something in that arm already. Don't even have to do a lot. And then we'll do this swan neck. So we come back in, back of the wrist gets as close to the shoulder as it can go, and then press out. And that's it. That's this whole movement, little swan neck, right? I used to call it a gooseneck, and somebody said, that doesn't sound nice. So I switched it to a swan neck. All right. So notice if this arm moves more easily, or if the other arm moved more easily doing this particular movement. Are you breathing in and out? And the next time you're out, we're going to hold here. And then we're going to lift that arm up overhead, bend the elbow, and it's like you're bringing the phone to the side of your face, right? So the palm of your hand is somewhere near the side of your face or your chin. You could get it to your chin, and then up, over, and down. And as you sweep your arm, reach out through your fingers, really lengthen the tissue in the arm. Get it as long as it can be, right? So it's like you're pressing onto the side of your face. Good. Excellent. Everybody looks like they're having a great time doing this. Okay. And then let's make our little spyglass. So first finger and thumb, arm comes up, bend the elbow. This is the tricky part, so you can reach over there and give it a hand, right? So bring the little finger below the other fingers and see if you can get a little spyglass there, right? So if you're like that, if your little finger's above the hand, you want to get it below the hand, and then up and around. I know, and some of you are saying, hands don't do that. They're not supposed to do that. It's getting close. Excellent. So getting close, you get an A for getting close. Absolutely. It's all in the intention, you guys, right? So it's trying to use your body in a different way. It's trying to get your mind to think a little bit outside the box, right? If you got grandchildren or great-grandchildren, this is a fun thing to do with them. They will blow you out of the water. Let me just say that. Okay. And then let that go. Great. Shake that out a little bit. Bring that hand to the lap. Notice both arms, right? Hands, fingers. Wow. You wouldn't think that you would have this much sensation doing what we're doing. So just for fun, let's take the arms out to the sides, palms facing away, right? We're going to bring the arms up overhead, bend the elbows, and see if you can bring both palms to your face. Excellent. Come all the way up, out and around. Let's try that one more time. So bringing the arms up, lengthen, 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 bend the elbows, bring the palms of your hands to your face. Coming up and out, and since you guys like aced that, bring your first finger and your thumb together on each side. Come up overhead, and let's make binoculars. Oh. Got it? No. Okay, let's do it again. Coming out and around. Okay, so you want to come up and have the palms of your hands up toward the ceiling. So that's a good way to start, right? So palms toward your ceiling, and then bend the elbows, bring the hands down. You got it. And then see if you can get the hands this away. If you have glasses on, I'm sorry, they're going to be a mess, right? Ooh, shake that out a little bit. And take a moment now, just notice your arms, right? So we've really gotten things alive in there now, really gotten things alive. Let's take that right arm and bring it forward. We're going to drag it all the way up, overhead, around, down, and behind, and I'm going to ask you to twist your body to the right as we make this circle. So we're twisting. You could follow your arm, your hand, with your gaze if you want. If that makes you feel a little dizzy, don't do it. Okay, so breathe in, breathe out. See if you can make an even bigger circle. Huge circle, right? Think Olympic-sized circle. Really big. The next time your arm is down toward the floor, we're going to switch direction, right? So you don't want to switch when the arm is up overhead, because then your shoulder is in a little bit more vulnerable position. So think about that when you're doing something in your daily life and you need to make an adjustment. You want to try not to make an adjustment with your arm extended. You want to actually bring the arm in a little bit. Okay. And then the next time the arm is down, we're going to kind of hold here and just lean into that side a little bit, and then see if you can just kind of shake that arm out. So it's getting maybe a little bit longer. Can you like touch the floor, right? Not really, but kind of going in that direction. Okay, and then sit back up. We're going to take that arm and sweep it over to the left, and then pull on that left arm a bit. I'm sorry, on the right arm with the left. Turn and look out over your right shoulder, and lift and lower your chin. So we're lifting and lowering the chin. We're saying yes. So a little more complex movement. We did a yes movement to the front. That's a little bit of a warm-up. Just notice what you feel. If you can pull that right arm over a little bit more, you might feel more of a stretch. And then bring your head back to center. We're going to release that right arm, sweep it around behind your back, let it rest on the small of your back, and then take your left hand, grab hold of the right. So behind your back, you're grabbing hold of the right. You might even grab your wrist. Some people can grab the wrist. Some people maybe can grab the forearm a little bit. So whatever you can do without contorting your body, right? So you want your body to be relaxed. Relax your jaw, relax your neck. And now drop your left ear to your left shoulder. So we're just letting a little bit of time go by as we let this ear drop closer to the shoulder. And you're breathing in, breathing out. Deepen your breath. Nice, full, deep breaths. So the chin is tucked a little bit toward the chest, and the ear is close to the shoulder, or closer to the shoulder than it is when you're just kind of sitting up. You're inhaling, exhaling. And with your next inhale, you're going to bring your head all the way up. Excellent. We're going to reach this arm, take the right arm around to the front, place your hand on your shoulder, and then lift that elbow up as high as it'll go, and then lower it down. So we're just going to lift and lower the elbow, keeping the hand on the shoulder, lifting and lowering the elbow. Now you might get to a point where you can't lift that elbow anymore. Just go as high as you can and then come down. So 2 more times we're going to do this in a continual movement, and then we're going to hold it. So this time as you bring that elbow up, we're going to hold here and then see if you can take your left hand and give it a little push. Just a little push. Now you can push it from below. If you have the ability to reach up overhead and pull that elbow behind, you can do that. But for some people, that just doesn't work. And sometimes it's your anatomy. It's your, like the bones of your anatomy that don't allow it. Sometimes you got a little tight shoulder. If you're holding here and it's hard to breathe, or you feel like your neck is forward, give yourself a little bit of a break and do it the other way. Good. And then release the left arm. Let it hang down by your side. Release your right arm. Let it come all the way down. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out. And notice if your right arm feels different than your left arm. Maybe it feels longer. Maybe you've got some sensation in there, some tingling or warmth. You might have like a little buzzy feeling. Any number of things. So just notice what feels different on that right side. All right, and then you can open your eyes, and we're going to take that left arm and sweep the left arm up and around. So nice big circles here. Nice big circles. Up and around. And again, just noticing if you've got a shoulder issue on this side, or you've got an elbow issue, or you've got a back issue that doesn't allow you to bring the arm up overhead. Do the best you can with this. And you can twist your body, like twisting the body toward the back when you go back, and twisting it to the front. And the next time that your arm is down toward the floor, whenever that is, that's when you'll make your switch and you'll go in the other direction. So inhaling and exhaling, switching direction, getting a nice stretch here. The shoulder and the arm. Good. And you're breathing, right? Excellent. Good. How about one more time? Great. And then we're going to take that arm and sweep it right over to the right. Take your right hand and just pull on the upper part of your arm. So you don't want to be on the shoulder, and you don't want to be on the elbow. You want to be right in the middle. So right on that upper arm. And then turn and look out over the left shoulder. And you're going to say yes. So lift and lower the chin. Lift and lower. Breathe in, breathe out. So we got that nice stretch going on through the shoulder. We've got the breath moving smoothly and evenly here. Good. And then bringing your head back to center, we're going to release that arm, sweep it around behind your back, let it rest on the small of your back, and then take your right hand, grab hold of your left wherever you can. Fingers palm, wrist, maybe even forearm. But notice if you're twisting your body a little or you're leaning forward a little bit, see if you can keep your body upright as you pull that arm over. So as you draw that arm over, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Yeah. So chin should be down toward the chest a little bit. In other words, you don't want your chin up like this. You want to have your chin down a little bit toward the chest. Breathe in, breathe out. And then see if we can do a little no movement. So you turn your nose down and then up. So keep the ear on the shoulder. We're not lifting the ear from the shoulder. We're keeping it right where it is, and we're just going down and up. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, and then bringing your head back up to center, we're going to release that left arm, sweep it forward, bring the hand to the shoulder. So we've got the nice bend in the elbow, and then we're going to lift and lower. So just lifting and lowering. Now notice as you lift, the elbow comes out a little bit, right? So as you lift this arm, the elbow wants to drift out a little bit, and that's okay. So let it drift out. Good. Couple more times, just kind of lifting and lowering. Good. And the next time that you lift, you're going to hold here and breathe, and then see if you can give it a little encouragement. So just kind of push it up a little bit. If it won't go up anymore, so if it's here and this is as high as it's going to go, that's fine. So just do the best you can here. For those who have the ability or the flexibility or capability of bringing the arm up and overhead, you can do that. I'm going to stick with this because that feels better in my body today. And just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? You ever hear that? Just because you can doesn't mean you should? Yeah. So sometimes you get a little feeling in your body and it's like, I know I can do that, but it doesn't feel right today. That's okay. That's more than okay. That's actually better because that means you're paying attention to your body and the message that it's giving you. But you're still doing something, right? It's not like you're giving up and saying, oh, I'm not going to do anything at all. So breathe in, breathe out. Excellent. And then let go with that right hand. Let the left arm come down. Let both hands rest on your lap and close your eyes. Whew. Just notice here. Shoulders, arms, neck, back, chest. Notice your hands, your fingers, your thumbs. So we did a lot of work in the arms and shoulders and the chest and the upper back here. Let's give a little roll for the shoulders one more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay. All right, and then relaxing that. So now I'm going to ask you to go back in your memory to the beginning of class, so not too far back in your memory. And you're going to recall those snapshots that we took. So we're going to take the head and turn the head to the right. Don't twist your body now. It's just your head you're turning to the right. Turn as far to the right as you can. And let your eyes turn in the eye sockets, so you've got a little more rotation there to the right. Notice what you see in your direct vision and what you see in your peripheral vision. And now recalling what this looked like the first time you did it, compare that snapshot with where you are now. Breathing in, breathing out, come back to center. Anybody notice a difference? Amazing, right? Amazing. Let's see if it's amazing on the other side. So turn to the left. Again, just your head, not your shoulders, not your torso. Turn your head as far as it'll go. Let your eyes turn in the eye sockets. Looking for that direct vision and peripheral vision, and then comparing it with your snapshot, right? So remembering what your snapshot was. Notice the difference there, if there's a difference there, and then come back to center. Anybody notice a difference on that side? Yeah. Not so much. So so was it more on one side than the other, right? Yeah. So we can definitely notice. So if you have more range on one side after doing those exercises, then the other side could use a little more help, right? So doing these exercises a little bit more on that side. We've lost a lot of our ability to turn like that because we have technologies that have eliminated the need for us to do that. Remember having to back up the car, right? Yeah, we used to have to do all of this. Now what do? There's not a whole lot of movement there for us, right? So, and we tend to move in patterns that get set up over like the course of our day, in the course of our week. And so the challenge, and this is what I love about doing this kind of work, the challenge is to find the places in your body that don't move. Find the places that you just don't access, and then start to move them. That gives you that sense of more of a whole body movement as opposed to just a few select parts, right? Okay, so let's give that upper body a little bit of a break. We've done an awful lot of work there. Let's target the feet. Look down at your feet. So whether you have your socks on or shoes on or socks off, doesn't matter. Just kind of look down at your feet and notice what you see down there. So if you've got your socks off, see if you can spread your toes out and see if you can see some space between your toes. If you have your socks on, just imagine or visualize that space. It's okay. So you're spreading out your toes and you're placing them down. And then see if you can lift up just your big toes without lifting the other toes. Actually, let's do this. Let's lift just the right big toe. So not the left, just the right. So just lift and lower that right toe a few times, that right big toe. And then relax that and do the left side. So you're just lifting and lowering that left big toe. Is anybody breathing? Might be a good time to breathe. Okay, now lift them both and lower them both, right? So lifting and lowering just the big toes though, not the other toes. If the other toes are coming up, there's a couple things you can do. Lift your big toes a little bit less, or you could reach down there and press into those other toes. Don't let them come up, and lift just the big toes. And breathe. The third thing you might do is use your hands to instruct your feet. So with your hands on your lap, just lift your thumbs and your big toes, right? Maybe your feet will follow your hands. Good. Everybody's doing okay with that, yeah? Excellent. You've been practicing, yeah? Good. Okay. So now we're going to keep the big toes on the floor and lift all the little toes. And then lower. So lifting and lowering just the little toes. Now that doesn't mean this, right? So I'm not bringing my knees in. That's cheating, right? Because I can do it that way easily. You want to do it from the muscles in the feet. So you're lifting all those little toes and keeping the big toes down. Now as you're lifting, so you can certainly reach down there and press into the big toes so that they stay on the floor. As you're lifting all the little toes, I'm going to ask you to really press strongly through the big toes. So the big toes aren't just hanging out on the floor doing nothing. They're actually pushing down into the floor. And that may create a little bit more lift for those little toes. We're doing okay? Good. Everybody's got their own thing going on out there. That's awesome. Okay, so relax all of that. Relax your feet for a moment. Take a breath in and out. Okay, so now lift your right big toe. Everybody got that, yeah? Okay, lift your left little toes. We're into more advanced stuff here, right? Because we've been doing this for a while. So you got that? So your right big toe is up and the right little toes are down. The left big toe is down and the little toes are up. Yeah? Okay, lower everything down. Take a breath, because I know y'all were holding your breath. And lift up all the little toes on the right. Keep the big one pressed down into the floor. And then lift just your left big toe. So again, we got all the little toes on the right lifted, the big toe is pressing down, and then on the left, we've got all the little toes pressing down and the big toe is lifted. And you have no idea what's happening down there, do you? Okay. And then we're going to lower that all the way down. Right big toe lifts, Left little toes all lift. Lower down. Right little toes lift. Left big toe lifts. Lower down. Right big, I know I am. Right big toe lifts. Left little toes lift. Breathe and lower down. Right little toes lift. Left big toes lift. Big toe lifts. Lower down. Let's try that one more time. Right big toe up. Left little toes up. Lower everybody down. Right little toes up. Left big toe up. Lower down. Oh, thank God we only have 2 feet. Come up on your toes. Or on the bottoms of your toes. Give them a nice stretch. So it's like a Barbie foot here, like you're standing in a nice big stiletto. So press down into the bottom of your right foot, press down, 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 down into those toes, then press into the other one. Now, if you've got a little joint issue here, so if one of your joints feels a little crabby doing this, just do like a 1-inch pump. That's fine. You don't have to be in a stiletto. Okay. And then lower that down. We're going to take the top of the right foot and see if you can press the top of the right foot into the floor. So you can bring your foot underneath the chair, if that's helpful. If you've got the flexibility to do it under your knee, you can do that as well. Now, I know for those who don't have a towel or a sock on out there, the floor can be super hard. So just kind of be aware of that. I'm actually going to put my toes on my sock. It gives a little cushion. So you're just kind of pressing down. And what we're doing here is we're stretching this part of the foot right there. Can you all feel that? Yeah. So let's just kind of stretch that part of the foot a little bit. And then bring that foot to the floor, and then we're going to go to the other side. So coming up onto the top of the toes or the top part of the foot. If you press more into the little toe side of your foot, by the way, you get more of a stretch here in the outer part of your leg. If you press more into the big toe side, you're going to get a little bit more of a stretch right up the shin bone, kind of. Yeah. So you might just kind of notice what that feels like. All right, and then put that foot back down. Let's take the right foot and circle at the ankle. And reverse direction. And let's go to the other side. So left, circle, circle. And switch and breathe as you're doing this. Great, I'm hearing a little music out there. Excellent. And then bring that foot back down. So now we're going to do a little work for the knee. So we're going to work up a little bit here by bending and extending the knee, right? And we're going to do this super slow. So you can bring your hands to your chair. That helps support your back if that's helpful. Pull your belly in a little bit. When you get your knee bent and your heel is under your chair, imagine you could bend it even more, like you could kick the bottom of your chair with your heel. And then we're going to extend and we're going to hold it here, but don't hold your breath. Right? So we're bending and extending, and we're breathing in and breathing out, and we're going super slow, right? So when you bend, you want to give the muscles in the back of your leg a really big squeeze, like you could get that heel right up to the bottom of the chair. And then when you extend, you're going to hold here, like you could push out through your heel. This leg gets super straight. Your knee gets nice and strong. Couple more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Good, so nice strong leg here. Excellent. And then bend your knee. We're going to bring that foot to the floor. We're going to go right to the other side. So bending, squeeze, and extending. Now keep your foot flexed, meaning the toes are reaching toward the shin. So you don't want to be pointing your foot. You want to keep the foot in that position here, right? Breathe in, breathe out. So when you're extending the leg, when you're straightening this knee, it's like you can bring your toenails up to touch your shin. Right? And the leg is really strong, especially up here around the kneecap, right? So those are your quadriceps muscles. When you're bending your knee and you're trying to bring that heel to the bottom of your chair, you're really engaging the hamstring muscles in the back of the leg, right? Couple more. Good. And then bring that foot back down. Whew. And just notice for a moment, just notice your legs, your ankles, your feet. So we've got a little bit of work going on there. We're going to scoot over to the right side of the chair. And then using your heel and your toes, we're going to walk that foot out and then walk it back. So we're just going to do a little bit of work here for the hip. So the hip, if you remember, from last week. I was talking about that. The hip is this part right here where the leg bone comes into the pelvis. So what we're doing now is this movement. You get that? Kind of that movement? In and out. So notice how far out you can go, right? See if you can push it a little bit more. And then come back. Now, again, you want to work, you don't want to be moving into pain. So if something is painful, you don't want to be going there. But it might be uncomfortable, and that's okay. Because discomfort is what helps us evolve, helps us grow. Okay, so halfway between forward and as far out as you can go, whatever that halfway is, bring your foot to that halfway position. So it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 60 degrees. And then we're going to drop the knee in and bring the knee out. So we're dropping in and going out. Now you can roll on the inside of your foot when you drop, and you can roll on the outside of your foot when you bring the leg out. So that makes it all hip movement when we let the foot drop. Come back to kind of not dropping forward or back, so your foot is flat on the floor. We're going to do that same movement now, but don't let your foot come off the floor. It's a much smaller movement, right? So this is a little bit of hip, but it's mostly ankle. Right, so we're getting a little bit of ankle in there. Good, and breathe. Excellent. Okay, let's take that foot, scoot it back. Scoot your backside over to the left side of the chair. And then using your heel and your toes, walk the foot out and walk it back. And walk it out and walk it back just a couple of times. Good. Notice, do you have more range on this side? In other words, can that leg sweep out more on this side, or could it sweep out more on the other side? And maybe sweep is a word that you wouldn't use, right? Maybe nothing is sweeping today. That's okay too. So next time you get that foot out as far as it'll go, just notice where that is. Halfway between that position and the forward position, you're going to bring that foot so it's comfortable. And then we're just going to drop the knee in and pull it out. And again, roll up on the inside of the foot and then roll to the outside of the foot. So that's bringing all of the movement up here into the hip itself, right? You can feel that you're going to your range. And quite honestly, the movement for me is being limited by the chair. So you might be noticing that too. Well, maybe I could go in a little bit more, but the chair is in the way. Okay. And then when you get like neither dropping forward nor dropping back, sole of the foot on the floor, we're going to do that same movement with the knee, but don't let the foot come up. Don't ride up on the big toe and little toe side. So we're getting a little bit of movement here in the ankle. Right? So a little bit of knee movement, a little bit of ankle movement, a little bit of hip movement. Good. Inhaling and exhaling, of course, even though I didn't say it. All right, and then kind of neutral position. Walk all the way back to the center of your chair. Take a moment here, close your eyes, let your hands rest on your lap. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel your sitting bones on the chair. Feel the contact of your feet on the floor. Notice what your body feels like. What does it feel like to be in your body today, right now, in this moment? And then turn your attention to your breathing. Notice the way the air is moving in and out through your nose. And turn your awareness to your mind. What's happening in your mind right now? Are you still here? Have you left? Are you distracted? Are you thinking about something that happened before? or something that's going to or might happen in the future. And then redirecting to your breath, we're going to do that same breathing that we did in the beginning, where we breathe in half and then breathe in the other half and then exhale through the mouth like you're blowing out a candle. So whenever you're ready, you can start that breathing. And as you do this, see if you can make your exhale, so the blowing out of the candle, make it twice as long if you can. Twice as long as the inhale. On those exhales, when you feel like you've blown the candle out completely, imagine it's one of those trick candles and it goes back on. You've got to give it a little bit more breath and blow it out a little teeny bit more. And notice if by breathing in twice, doing that double inhalation, can you make those a little bit longer? Maybe make that first half a little bit more than half, and then the second half, maybe you can make that a little bit more than what you feel is half. So we're just trying to expand the breath a little bit more, trying to expand the mind's awareness of breath a little bit more. After your next exhale, so that extra long exhalation, after that, just go back to your natural breath. And then maybe take your hands together just for a moment. Take a moment to feel grateful for everything you've gotten in your life, those things that you've worked hard for, those things that have just come your way easily. And then maybe if that feels okay, opening your eyes and just acknowledging all these wonderful people in the room with us. Grateful to be here with all of you. Yeah. Great. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. See y'all next time.